All right, so this is chapter 3 quiz review for adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing decimals. These questions are going to look very similar to the test, which is on Friday, so please follow along and make sure you have these right. If you have questions, don't hesitate to ask. All right, so question number 1 says 1 meter is approximately equal to 39.39 inches. About how many inches are in 5 meters? Well, we actually got kind of lucky here because it gave us this word right here. I was going to draw a box, but it gave us this word, which is approximately, right? So approximately means about how much. So 1 meter is about 39.39. It says that we can actually change this. What number is 39 round up or down to? Well, it'd be 40, right? So now we're dealing with 40, which is a lot easier. So it says 1 meter equals 40 inches. So we'll say 1 meter equals 40 inches. All right, that's the first part of the question. So about how many inches are in 5 meters? Well, that's going to be pretty easy. So how many inches? Well, 1 meter is 40. And we're going to multiply by 5 because we have 5 meters. So multiply as an x. And then 5. And then it just becomes something we're used to doing, right? Let me actually move this over because I also want to make sure my stuff is aligned. There we go. 5 times 0 is what? Hopefully you guys said 0. And then 5 times 4 is 20. And there you go. 200 is our answer for question number 1. All right, so question number 2 is, what is the value of the expression? And so 75.42 divided by 0.1. Well, first we're going to write it in standard form. So we're going to say 0.1. And we're going to say divided by, 75.42 divided by 0.1. So what we're going to do here is get rid of this ugly decimal right here. So I'm going to move him over. Oh, the wrong tool. Here we go. So I'm going to move him over. Let me make that red so you guys can see what I'm doing. Move it over 1. So if I move it over here 1, I'm going to move it over here 1 as well. And then, like Ms. Gonzalez says, I'm going to raise the roof and just bring that decimal right up. All right, so then I'm going to set it up. Since I got rid of my decimals, I'm just going to have a 1 by itself now, right? Oh, why is this moving? Okay, 1 by itself. And this number is actually going to be, since I moved my decimal over, it's going to be 74.2 because the decimal moved over 1. All right, let me draw my house again. And I'm actually going to get rid of all these random numbers that might be throwing you guys off. All right. So we're done with this part now, right? Our decimals are gone. We know our decimal is going to end up being right here. All right, so now it's just simple math. What's 1 times, how many times can 1 go into 7? Hopefully you guys all said 7. How many times can 1 go into 5? 5. How many times can 1 go into 4? 4. That has to be before the decimal. Right out of space here. And how many times can 1 go into 2? 2. This is going to be a really simple answer. Our answer is 754.2, or 754 and 2/10. All right, so question number 3 is, the 6th grade class is going to the local art museum's dinosaur exhibit. Lucky you guys. There are 52 students in the class. The total cost of the tickets for all the students is $364. So I know there's 52 students, right? And the total cost is how much? $364. All right. So what is the cost of 1 student ticket? Well, that's going to be easy, right? All we're going to have to do is figure out what 364 is divided by 52. That's how many students we have. So we're going to this right here. And then, where am I? 52. Over here, it becomes a nice little division problem. And the first thing is, can 52 go into 36? It cannot, right? It does not work. So we actually have to go, so 52 times 0 would give me that. And all it would do, I'll go through the whole long division. 52 times 0 equals 0, right? And then I'm going to do my subtraction. 36 minus 0 equals 36. Uh-oh. Ignore these little dots. I'm going to bring down my 4. So it becomes 364. So it's basically starting from square one, right? So we have to figure out how many times can 52 go into 364. What I would do is just round. What's the nearest easy number we can figure out 52 is? Well, 50 is pretty easy to do multiplication, right? It's like 50 cents. So how many times, and what's 364 close to? Well, that's close to 350, right? So all we have to figure out is how many times can 50 go into 350? And an even easier way to do that is just get rid of these zeros. So how many times can 5 go into 35? Well, that's 7, right? 5 times 7 equals 35. So let's try 7 real quick and see if that works for us. So 52 times 7 equals, let me see here, 7 times 2 is 14. So I'll bring my 1 over here and regroup. 7 times 5 is 35 plus the 1 equals 36, right? All right, 364. Hey, look at that number works perfectly. So I'm going to put 7 here. So the question is, what is the cost of one student ticket? We're going to say $7 for each ticket. All right. Just want to remind you, because it is important to try to round to the nearest tens or whatever makes the multiplication easy for you guys to make sure the answer makes sense. So that's why I rounded to 50, because 52 is kind of a hard number to multiply by, but 50 is easy, right? So that's what I did there. All right, question 4 is, Wesley bought one t-shirt for $7.90, so I'm going to write that out already, $7.90, and another t-shirt for $12.40. What is the total amount he spent? Oh, total amount just means we're going to add, right? So since this is adding, I'm just going to line up my decimals. See how I did that? And then we're just going to add it on through. Let me put a plus sign here for you guys. There we go. So 0 plus 0 equals 0. 9 plus 4, it equals 13. I'm going to bring my 1 up here, right? 1 plus 7 is 8. 8 plus 2 is 10. I'm going to regroup my 1 over here. And so now we have 1 plus 1, which equals 2. Now, where's my decimal go? Well, that's easy. I'm just going to bring it right down. And if I have it lined up, it should be perfect. And my decimal will go right here. I don't know if you guys can see that. But yeah, it's 20.3. Let me write it over here. And since we're talking to money, it's $20.30. All right. All right, question number 5. A city had 9.2 inches of rain in April and 4.3 inches of rain in May. What is the difference in rainfall between the 2 months? Difference, I'm going to circle that word, means subtraction. Okay, so you got to remember that difference. When asking for the difference of something, it means subtraction. So a city had, let's put those numbers down. We said 9.2. Oh, let me turn that back to black. And 4.3. Okay, and so it says the difference where you're going to subtract. And we're just trying to figure out how much of a difference. So what's the difference in inches? So I would always start with the biggest number and put that one on top. And then let's do subtraction here. So since this is subtraction, remember addition and subtraction with decimals, you are going to line up those decimals. So your decimals should be right there. Let me get rid of that box with the little ugly. Okay, but it's going to end up coming right down. I mean, you can do that right now if you wanted to, which I'm going to do. Look at my decimal's going to end up right there. Okay, so what's 2 minus 3? Well, we can't do that, right? So we're going to have to cross here and borrow from here, turn this into an 8, and we're going to turn that guy into 12. So 12 minus 3, that equals 9. And now we just have 8 minus 4, which equals 4. And is that my answer, 4.9? Close. And you'll probably get credit if you put that, but you got to make sure you're talking about what units we're talking about. So 4.9 inches. So what's the difference in rainfall between the 2 months? 4.9 inches. I guess you could even say inches of rain. All right, that was number 5. Almost there. All right, number 6 says Joanna, which is kind of a, or Juana, I'm not sure how to say that name, had a board that was 54 inches long. She cut off 22.5 inches for a project. How many inches of the board remain? So imagine this girl right here. She's cutting a project, right? It's 54 inches long. And then she takes away, or she cuts off 22.5. So that if she's cutting it off, we are going to be doing a subtraction problem. This is decimals. We got to line up our decimals. Remember, on a whole number, if there isn't a decimal, it's always a decimal point to the right. 54 is the same as 54.0. Well, it's actually the same as 54.00000, but we only need one, right? So we're just going to say 54.0, just so it matches up nice and evenly. So my line here, line here. So what's 0 minus 5? Well, you can't do that. So I'm going to have to borrow from this guy. And he becomes 3. And this becomes 10, right? So let me see if I can get it. There we go. And 10 minus 5 equals 5. My decimal's right here, so I'm going to bring it right down. 3 minus 2 equals 1. 5 minus 2 equals 3. And that should be our answer. She cut off 22 inches, so how many inches of the board remain? Well, 31.5 inches, right? That's how much remains. Good job, Juana. Good job. That's our answer. All right, I think that's going to be it for today. So 1 through 6.